guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I just thought I would come along and have a bit of a play using some of the covers, you know, from the lovely sheet music that we buy, or, you know, well, I think we all buy it. I absolutely love the outside covers of the sheet music, and I just, you know, yeah, feel so drawn to it as designs go. I mean, even this one, which is kind of boring really, but there's something just so yummy and lovely about it. So I just thought we would come along and have a bit of a look and see what we could do with some of these. I mean, this has been spurred on really because I need to just create a small something to put into something I'm making at the moment. But I thought, let's come along and just see what we could make with a few of these little covers here. So I have a selection. Obviously I've got the green, which I just absolutely love. I've got this one here, which again has got the kind of lovely, you know, the navy blue and the orange and things. Just really nice sort of coloration on that. And then I've got this one, which is obviously, this is actually in an inside sheet from a back, you know, of one. So it's not kind of an outside cover per se, but that kind of thing. And then I have this one, which I'd obviously played around sometime before. As you can see, I mean, this was quite damaged. It's, you know, it's quite grubby and, you know, very old. It's got sellotape across there. I didn't put that there. That was how it was. But I have cut it down because I already used some of it for something else. But I thought, oh, I'll just grab that in as well and use it. And then we've got these couple. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? So I think this was the back cover from this one. And obviously this is now, you know, this one doesn't have the orange on it. But aren't they just lovely? Just, yeah, really, really like them. And then obviously this one, which again, I think this was also like the inside sheet of a back of one, if that makes sense. So I just thought, let's have a look and we'll see what we can create with some of them. I mean, personally, I probably wouldn't use these for like a big, you know, proper major journal, because I would find them quite flimsy. So if I were using them as an actual journal cover, I would probably reinforce them with something. So I'm thinking that you could reinforce them with either, you know, like some of those sticky see-through labels that we've used recently. If you were to stick something like that over here, that would obviously reinforce it, because they're not really tearable, those labels. So that would, you know, provide quite a strong, you know, resilience for this straight away. You could obviously reinforce like where the spine's going to be, maybe with some Tyvek or something like that. Or of course, you know, you could just like Mod Podge this onto another piece of paper or something like that. But of course you could use these not just as a journal cover, but you could make small pieces by cutting out like the sections. So for instance, like here, we've got this small section here. So if I just cut that down. Like that, you could make like a little foldy bit. So I'm going to try and fold it, you know, roughly where that little black line is, because that just seems like, you know, the logical place really. I will use my bone folder. Now, as you can see, I mean, it's pretty brittle because obviously it's, you know, it's old. So that's what I say about if it were an actual journal cover, you'd probably need to reinforce these with something. For this, it's just going to be a you know, an insert in the journal, so it's not quite so what's the word, not important, but you know, it's not going to be, I guess, open and closed so frequently. And you know, you could just then do a little foldy like that. And how cute does that look? I mean, that's just so lovely, isn't it? Just literally as is. But then, of course, you know, if you wanted to then reinforce where you've got that cracking effect going on, I mean, you could just take like some lace or something and just go down those little bits. So if I just do that with this piece here, so I'm just going to take this and just cut it straight, and then just cut this side as well. And then what I'm going to do is ink this up, because obviously at the moment this is white and it would stand out like a sore thumb against here. But if I ink it up, I'm just checking which is like the right way of the lace. So if I ink it up with my vintage photo, or of course could tea stain this, and that would be brilliant, you know, or coffee dye it. And probably that would be even better, to be honest, but okay, and then you could just glue that on there like that. So I'm just going to do that again. I'm just going to use my 3-in-1, and I'm trying to glue, you know, like where the thicker parts of this lace are. I mean, this lace is pretty holy, if you see what I mean. So there aren't a great deal of filled in pieces as such, but I'll just use wherever I can that is slightly filled in. So like that, and then just fold that over. Oops. Like that. Okay. I mean, how cute is that? And again, I mean, I'll just trim that down so it's not quite so overhanging, but I don't want it to be completely flush because that just seems a little bit boring. I'll just ink that there where there's a bit of white showing, and could obviously ink this up as well. I mean, obviously it's, you know, it is vintage, so it's not like really clean and green already. It's quite sort of marked, but if you wanted to do it a little bit more like that. And then what I'm thinking, I've got my magnets, couldn't resist getting one of those out. So again, what we could do is we could have one on here and like one there maybe. That would be quite cool, wouldn't it? And then we'll reinforce this as well. So I'm just going to pop this one down. She says, oh, come on. Really? Okay. So just pop that down there roughly in the middle. And then we're just going to stick that one there. And then just to sort of cover that up, I mean, to be honest, you could have it underneath actually. You know, maybe underneath would be better. Let me just see what I'm going to cover it up with, because that might help me decide whether to go under or over. So hang on. Right, I've still got my envelope of coffee dyed stuff that's still waiting to be sorted, and I still haven't. Honestly, I feel like it's just going to be there forever. Well, it probably will be. Who am I kidding? Probably will. So we could just have like that and pop some lace or something here. Oh, decisions. I've got some tickets here. They may be quite cute on there. I've got green ones. Could just have like some tickets going down there. That might be quite sweet. And actually they would also act a bit as a reinforcer. So I'll just tear that so it's not looking too like uniformed. Now, do I want to have that magnet then probably on top? Okay, so let me just make sure it's, you know, roughly where it should be. Peel off my adhesive. Oops. Okay, oh, try not to pull the magnet away completely from the piece. And then, I mean, these don't really need thingy inking because they are coffee dyed, but, and then I'm just going to punch my little holes, you know, like the Ticket Man would, like that. And then we'll just glue them down. I don't know whether they're going to go, you know, like glue around front and back of that magnet or not, but we'll just have a look and see. So and again, just sort of, you know, press them around where that magnet is, so that it's nicely glued down. Okay. And then here, just want to, again, just cut a strip. So just going to neaten that up there. Oops. Like that. So again, let me just ink this up so it's not bright white. I mean, it's amazing the difference it makes, isn't it? As soon as you ink it up, it just does look completely different. So like that. And then again, I'm just going to then glue in the more filled in pieces. I mean, like I say, it is very wholly laced, so I mean there aren't a great deal of filled in pieces there, but just wherever it is, I'll just kind of dab it on really. Okay, and we can just pop that down there, fold it over like that. And then, oh, come on. Just squash that down. Again, just try and dab some of that off from the back. Oops, I'm now stuck on the wipe. Okay, and then I'm just going to, again, just trim that down there and there. So it's just a little opening like that. And of course, you know, you could put like a little flippy pad or something like that in there. And how cute is that? Just really nice way to use some of those covers up. So, you know, again, if I just pull them back in, just thinking what, you know, what the shapes are lending themselves to. Right, let's have a look. So I'm now wondering whether we could do like a pocket. I mean, we could do even like, you know, like the Patricia book page pockets, to be honest. So what I might do, just want to make sure that I'm going to do that before I cut this down. I'm a bit inclined to hoard things like this because I really like them. But what I'm thinking, if we just cut this here, like that, and then a bit like sort of the Patricia pockets where she just folds the book page up, you could just fold up, you know, the bottom of the what do you call it, the rest of the sheet. So again, we just then take that down slightly, you know, hopefully get it a bit straighter. And then I'm going to go down this side as well. Like that. And then I just need to straighten it up here because it's quite lopsided. Okay. Hopefully. I don't know whether I'm very straight here, I've got to be honest. Looks quite wonky to me, but okay. And then oh, sorry, I'm just fidgeting around on my chair now. So that would be like your pocket. And again, just like sort of Patricia does, I mean, you could stitch around that on the sewing machine. Again, if you haven't got a sewing machine, you know, please don't feel that you have to have a sewing machine. I think it will look equally as good, you know, glued. I don't necessarily think that you have to have a sewing machine. So let me just reach back and get some Bookpage. Oh, sorry, it's right behind my desk, so I'm just reaching out to grab it. And I'm just going to reinforce it with some Bookpage, just so that it's not so flimsy. So we'll just glue that down like that. Plenty of glue, because obviously this is quite brittle, so I feel like, you know, if you didn't put enough glue on, it could easily, you know, it would only take for it to bend slightly and it would then break. You know, suddenly you'd have like a crack in it, and then you'd have paper that would be possibly peeling away from the underneath layer. I don't know whether that would happen, but that's just how I imagine it to be. Okay, and then might just even just tear this across, to be honest. So just then fold that there. And then just trim it down here at the side. So I mean, we just literally wanted to reinforce the thickness of that, like that, and then just round the corners. Like that. And then of course we want to decorate it up. So again, I'm just going to glue this like that. But of course, you could just stitch it onto the sewing machine. So, you know, up to you. Oops, what's that I've got stuck on there? Piece of glue was stuck on there. Okay, and then just, you know, decorate it up with some pretty, and hopefully some, you know, pretty and vintagey looking things. So let's just see what I've got laying about here. Got a little bit of that vintage newspaper. Now this was just floating on my desk, but how awesome is that colour on there? Looks really good, doesn't it, that colour? Let me just see what else I have floating around. I mean, I have got, well, I've still got this. This maybe is a little bit on the big side. I've got this piece of paper. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Right, let's use this, definitely. Definitely liking that one. So again, I mean, this is just a scrap, but it happens to have been coffee dyed. So it's, you know, it's got that nice vintagey, vintagey appearance. Okay. Yep. And we're going to have this gorgeous piece of vintage newspaper, which again, I mean, it's just a weeny scrap, but my gosh, that, oh my gosh, look, that's how fragile it is. Literally my glue caught it, and you know, within that 2 seconds it had torn it. But I mean, that's fine. It's, you know, it's still sticking down. It's, and now it's stuck down. It's obviously held together, so it's all good. So like that. And then what you could do is again, pulling some of those papers back in. So where did I put them? Where did I put them? Oh, they're behind me. Hold on. So pulling them back in, what you could also do is obviously mix some of them up. So for instance, maybe this one, because this seems to have a lot of texty bits. Oops. You could then just tear out, you know, something to put on here. So maybe like, which bit do we like? Well, I quite like these kind of bits, like where they've got like volume 1 and stuff. So let's do this one here. So I'm just going to tear that down. Oh, sorry, just dropped it everywhere. So we'll just tear that down like that. And then we'll just have to make it smaller because obviously it's a bit big at the moment and won't really fit in. Or fit on, sorry. So again, we'll just then ink that up a bit. Just ink a little bit where that paper is. So we could have that. Now, do I want to have it slightly smaller? Yeah, probably. So we'll just tear that off slightly more. Just going to stick that there. Okay. Just pop that down there. And then, I mean, what we could do is we could have something like a big butterfly or maybe a big flower or something. Let me again have a look and see what stuff I've just got here beside me. So hold on. Got these. Oh, they're quite nice on there, aren't they? Let me just cut out this butterfly. I don't know whether this is quite right, but just I'll have a look. Again, I mean, I just snip off those, you know, their antennae things. Oops, now can you hear that buzzing? It's one of the friends of the butterflies, obviously come to punish me for just snipping off the antennae. Okay. I mean, they're just too fiddly to, you know, to cut them out, aren't they? So yeah, I just like to cut them off so as I don't have to worry about it. I think that's just a great big fly in here. Yeah, I think it is. Right, yes, so that's probably a little bit too monstrous on there. Could have it there. That's quite nice, actually. Or maybe like that. Oh, I quite like that. So I'm going to just, again, damage him even further. My gosh, reckless with the wildlife. We'll just have that butterfly stuck there, I think. Looks really good, like on the edge there. And again, you know, this has all been coffee dyed, this butterfly, so. Okay. Oh, that fly is pretty irritating, isn't it? So I don't know how much that noise would be picking up on the camera, but yeah, I mean, I hope it's not really annoying for you guys. So I do apologise. Right, let's take a little bit of lace because, wow, let's just have a little bit. So I might just ink this up a bit. So it's looking a bit more raggedy. Do we want it down there or shall we have it up there? I mean, to be honest, I like it both. Oh, yeah, I like it both. Maybe we should have two lots. Well, maybe I don't like that one so much. This might be too big, but this was just like loitering around on my desk, so I just thought, oh, let's grab it to save cutting down some more for a minute. So we'll just, you know, try it out and see. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, I like that sort of ruggedy look of it. Ruggedy? Raggedy. Raggedy look. So just then glue that down. Like that. Oops. My gosh, I'm like covered now. Covered in glue even more. And we just then glue this one down. So I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're all having a good day. I hope you're doing some crafting. Every day is better with a bit of crafting, isn't it? Oh, I know. I always say that. It's so true. What can I say? Every day is better with a bit of crafting. Right, I just suddenly spotted that butterfly and thought, oh, should we have that on there? Right. So, and that's our pocket. I mean, actually, it's probably a little bit giant, I think, ginormous, but, you know, it's okay. I quite like it like that. So that's our pocket. And like I say, you could stitch around it or, you know, leave it, but they're really nice, aren't they? So let's pull in another one, you know, another sheet. Well, let's pull in this one that I'd already sort of cut down. So, I mean, as you can see, you know, this is really seen better days. It's, you know, looking really sort of tatty and, you know, not great, but look at how beautiful that is. It's absolutely lovely, isn't it? I mean, it is quite grubby and things, as I say, but there's just something so nice about it. Now, I don't even mind really that it's not cut straight at the bottom. I will try and straighten it up, however, but you know, it's not that terrible. I think it kind of adds to the ruggediness of it. So again, I mean, obviously you can see I've already folded this previously into thirds. You know, I haven't done this recently. This has just been obviously a project that I then never got round to actually finishing. So let's just ink it up a little bit. Not that it really needs it, because like I say, it's pretty grubby and things already, but we'll just ink it up a little bit. You know, more like on the folds and just the sort of bottom edge really. I mean, actually the inside doesn't look in too bad condition at all. So, you know, with regards to colour wise, I mean obviously it has been torn completely and got that sellotape, but with regards to the colour, it doesn't really look too discoloured in the colour in the inside at all. So that's that piece. Right, I was just about to make something with it, and I suddenly then thought of those lovely napkins that were gifted to me by Amy, and I thought, oh, these are going to be lovely on here. So I grabbed one in, and I'd already done that sellotape trick to be able to take the backing off. Okay, right, let's just put that down there, because I just thought, wow, colour wise this is gorgeous with these booklets, isn't it? So let's just tear this, I think, rather than cut it. And again, I have seen Sagita, I think, do this clever trick where she kind of like wets it with a paintbrush, and then she just is able to tear like around like the shape. I mean, it's very clever. I have to say I'd probably muck it up, but yeah, she makes it look very easy. Now, just need to check which section I would like here. I do really like that. Having said that, I do really like that as well. So what I could do is like open the whole thing out and decoupage the entire strip. Oh, should we just do that? I think we'll just do that. So again, what I'm going to have to do is just use my smaller acetate. So what I'm going to do is just paint the whole thing with the Mod Podge. I mean, again, you know, this is nothing that you haven't seen me do before. It's, you know, just Mod Podge mixed with a bit of water. Again, I don't really have a sort of formula for that to just, you know, pour some water into it. I like it just to go a little bit creamy and a bit more runny than when you first buy it. Yeah, I don't know how many parts water to how many parts Mod Podge, but it's certainly not a lot of water. You don't want to make it so it's completely, you know, more water than Mod Podge, if you see what I mean. Okay. But I like to just keep some on hand, ready-made and mixed up in an old Mod Podge bottle. I'm just going to pop that down like that. And then again, trying not to touch my napkin too much if I can help it. I can just press it down now with the acetate. I'm not really coming into contact with that napkin at all, which, you know, for me, that's very helpful. Okay. And then I can just, you know, mop up anywhere where I put Mod Podge that doesn't have napkin. I can just mop that up in a moment. Even just using some of the white actually from the napkin part that I didn't use. So I'll just bring that in. Oops. Just dab that around. Again, I'm really trying not to press on the napkin at all. You know, if I can help it. And then anywhere where you've just got any sort of loosish parts, so here you can just dab a little bit of extra glue. Again, I'll just press that with the acetate so as I don't really touch it. Okay, so I'm going to leave that now to dry. But I mean, hopefully you can see that just looks so pretty, doesn't it? I mean, up to you really whether you want to go over it with Mod Podge. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If you don't, it's got more of the napkin feel, if you see what I mean. If you do, it becomes more sort of like a sheeny gloss. So I might leave this one because it feels really quite fun to touch. So, and actually it seems like it's already drying a bit. It's quite warm up here today, so it may be that it is. Let me just put my brush out the way. Hold on. Okay, so whilst that's drying, just going to pop this to one side. Whilst that's drying, wipe that Mod Podge off. We could just do one more piece perhaps. So let's pull in this piece here. So, I mean, as you can see, this has got obviously a, you know, variety of like orange and blue on it, which, I mean, personally, I would probably struggle using the orange and blue. I've got to be truthful, but having said that, what you could do is kind of like cut it down or something, so you didn't use it all. So I might just cut this down here. Like that. And then I'm just going to see how that would be as like a journal cover. I mean, it's kind of nice. What do you think? I mean, the only thing is I would probably have preferred more of this sort of pattern, to be honest. Right, so scrap that idea, because I want to really keep this, which is, you know, to me this is the fun part because it's got all the texty part. Let's just fold it here and make a sort of coin envelope instead. So, and again, just go in there. Okay, and then if you're going to turn that up like that, again, just squash that with your bone folder. Like that. And then I like to just always, you know, trim this down at either side when I'm making these, and then I just like to go in here and just trim these off, and I go in a little bit further than the fold, if you see what I mean, because they're going to be, you know, this is going to be covered up anyway. So go in a little bit further down than the fold. And that way you know you're going to miss it when this bit folds up. So, you know, like really super simple. I just, you know, I can't be doing with the whole measuring or anything like that. So for me, that feels a really nice, easy way to do it. And then we're just going to run the glue down here. Now, weirdly, I've got a tatty edge and I've got a slightly less tatty edge. I mean, I have to say, I'm slightly drawn to the tatty edge. Don't ask me why, but for me, that just feels really nice and vintage. So I'm going to actually have that on the outside. And we just run the glue down on like the inside of the inside piece and the outside of the outside piece, if that makes sense. And then we're just then lots of glue on your flap that's going to go over like that. Press the whole lot down. Yeah, I have to say the sun's coming out. It looks lovely outside, so hopefully it's a nice day. Certainly feels quite warm in here now. So that's your basis of your little envelope, and then of course you could put then a thumb hole in the top. So I'll just get my hole punch. Now up to you whether you want to go right the way through or just like, you know, by that I mean through both layers, you know, front and back, oops, or just the front. I'm going to, I just think, go through just the front there. Of course you could trim it down if it's a little bit tall. I mean, mine is quite tall, to be honest. I could trim it down, but you know, we'll just have it a bit longer. It doesn't matter. And we'll just then ink it up. I mean, obviously this is a vintage piece, so I mean it's quite discoloured anyway, but we'll just ink it up a bit more because it just all adds to the sense of vintageness, doesn't it? And then I'm just going to put something in there so as I can do that thumb hole. I will ink on the back in case this would be a paper clipped in piece. I don't know whether it would or not, but again, you know, that's why I chose to have that rough edge, because if it is, I quite like that edge. So that's that little coin envelope. And then again, you know, we can just decorate it up with some little bits and pieces. So let's see what I've got here. Okay, sorry about that. I had to just go and get a cup of tea. I've been filming back to back all morning and feeling a little bit parched. So I'm here with my cup of tea now. Okay. It's thirsty work when you're kind of chatting non-stop. It's surprising how dry on your throat that does become. So, right. Quite like those flowers there. They're really pretty, aren't they? And then now I was tempted to kind of put something else on here, like, you know, like we did on the last piece. The only thing is, you know, like, because we all, or, you know, because I love decorating stuff, what would happen is I would effectively then cover up all this beautiful, you know, vintagey kind of pattern that I've got going on here. So that would be a bit of a shame to actually cover it up. So what I'm going to do, I think, is just try and keep it a bit minimal, as if that's going to happen, a bit minimal, and go for instead something like maybe a label, or, you know, I don't know, maybe a lady. Actually, she looks quite good. I was reaching for a label, and then I saw her and thought, oh, she might look good on there. She does, actually. So I'm going to go for her, I think. But I'm going to really try and restrain myself and not go too over the top there. So she's been coffee dyed anyway, but I'm just going to ink her up as well. And then, excuse me, I've got like a frog in my throat now. Right. Just pop that down. I mean, I love the sheet music. Just is so nice, isn't it? But some of the covers I really, really love. And weirdly, the text type covers I actually find are like the loveliest of all. I mean, some do have beautiful illustrations, of course they do, but the ones with the text I just think are really, really nice. They kind of conjure up something, I don't know, something vintage. They conjure up something vintage. Yeah, and really they look great, don't they? And I love all these colours, like this buff type colour, like that green, just really, really nice. So I'm just going to pop those flowers down there like that. And then what else I have got here is my lovely lace from Amy from my Happy Mail, and I just wondered whether I could kind of have something like that somewhere. I probably should have actually put it beneath the flowers, you know, but it doesn't really matter. So let me just cut off a tiny bit. Now, I haven't used any of this yet, so I have to see how it kind of operates. So I just cut off a tiny piece. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm stuck all over it. Not because the lace is sticky, but because obviously my hands have got glue all over them. And we could have the lace in the middle, or do we want it sort of more at the bottom? Hey, gorgeous. You're right. Good girl. Right, let's have a look. So my daughter's come up with her, armed with her tablet and her headphones. And her water. Right, okay. Oh, you sound thirsty, sweetheart. Right, okay. So let's just pop this down here. And again, just like have it, you know, hanging off a little bit. It looks really pretty because it's got that gold thread in it, which, you know, just adds a little something without being too like in your face. But actually, I'm now thinking what would be quite nice is to actually edge this here in some gold. I haven't got any gold here at my desk, and I don't want to stop the video again because I feel like then it would just be the most, you know, stopping, starting. But yeah, maybe when I come to use this, I could just add a little bit of extra gold around the edge. So that's that one. Now let's see if my napkin one is dry. It's not quite dry, but it's, you know, it's getting there. It's probably dry-ish, you know, dry enough. Dry enough for us to use. And as you know, I mean, I'm pretty impatient, so I can't be bothered to wait like for ages for it to dry because, you know, I will have finished doing the video by then. So just tidying up along the bottom where the napkin's hanging off anywhere. Just got a little bit there. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, here, there's a little bit of napkin there. I might just tear it off, or I might just leave it. I think it all, you know, it all adds to it. So, oh my gosh, that is so nice, isn't it? Oh, there's something about the lovely napkin pieces. They're just so pretty. Right, okay. Right, okay. Oh, okay, right. Let's ink this up a bit. Did we ink this before? I think we did. I'm sure we did. And said how it wasn't really necessary, but yeah, we were inking it anyway. So now I'm just inking it a little bit more now it's got the napkin on it. Aren't these just the most gorgeous napkins? And I have a whole packet, so it's very exciting because I don't even have to be like really stingy with the with using them. Because yeah, I can be a little bit stingy with the napkins because I mean, generally whenever I've bought them, you only get like 4. You know, you don't really get like a whole packet, you just get 4. So of course then you can't be using them left, right and centre because they would soon run out. Right, now that ticket there, do I want to actually glue that down, or shall we just have it like, you know, held on with some paper clips or something? I do like the ticket with this. I think it goes really nice. So let's just ink that up a bit. I mean, it's not even been cut straight at the bottom, but let's get a label. I mean, that pink one's quite nice on there, isn't it? I mean, I was originally thinking something more like that. That's maybe a little bit big, but having said that, I was thinking more like that colour-wise, but more like that size-wise. But sometimes it's kind of nice to have a big one. Or do we want that? Right, there's that one, or there's that one. Oh, probably have to go for the small one and just be safe there, I think, going for the small one. It is very warm up here, I must say. Right. So this has been coffee dyed and it's very, you know, dusty effect from the coffee. So I really do not need to worry at all about inking that. It's, you know, very inked already. Well, not inked, very coffee-ish. Just going to pop that down. And I'm just going to put it sort of there nearer to the edge. Like that. I could, because I did that as a pocket, so I could just have my tickets in there now, in that pocket, which is quite nice, isn't it? Then I've got this little bit of lace, which again, if I just trim this down, so it's not got those big pointy bits. Oops. I mean, not that they were like causing a problem, but you know. And I just get maybe a little word. So got here, beautiful. Let's just take that like that. Okay, and then just ink this up a little bit. Again, make sure it's, you know, right way up. So we just ink that. And we'll just ink our word. Thinking we just have our little word somewhere, maybe just there, so that just make sure that's kind of staying down. I'm just gonna, oh no, I was gonna say just gonna use my hot glue, but actually when I then went to pick it up it wasn't switched on. Normally as soon as I sit down at my desk I flick the hot glue on, but I seem to have got out of that habit and you know, then picked it up a few times recently, only to find it hasn't been on. Right, oops. There we go. And then I'm just thinking what would be really pretty on here is I've just got these little pearls and these diamonds. I'm just thinking a little sort of run of pearls would be cute. So I'm just going to cut off a little strip. I think here. So I'm just going to pop them on there. Like that. Oh, if I don't drop it first, that is. Oh my gosh, what is going on? What is going on? Okay, so that's those. Right. And that's it really. I mean, it probably, you know, could take some more things, but I probably won't add anything else because I think it looks lovely just as it is. But gorgeous, gorgeous insert. And then again, you know, you could put some extra pages in here, or, you know, just leave it exactly as is. You know, I think it's lovely as it is, to be honest. So yeah, I hope that's given you some ideas for using some of your covers of your sheet music and things. And yeah, have fun if you have a bit of a play with yours. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me all again soon, and stay safe, everyone. Thanks then. Bye.